And now, the conclusion of Dylan and Andrew's adventure in the Windy City.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we're here to talk about episode 156, Waylaid in the Windy City, part 2.
Yes.
What does Waylaid mean?
I don't know. I don't understand, I think Waylaid means, like if you're stuck somewhere.
That would be my assumption?
Like, for some reason I think,
maybe,
a layover in an airport kind of situation.
Right, maybe, caught up.
Yeah. We could Google it.
You know what? I'm gonna do just that.
Yeah.
Why does this happen every time, Andrew?
Where we both Google things?
Yeah, I say I'm gonna do it, and then you go to your keyboard too. Waylaid, to stop or interrupt someone and detain them in conversation or trouble them in some other way.
But they were already in Chicago.
Yeah.
I guess they were interrupting their Chicago-ness.
But yeah, similar words are ambush, hold up, attack, assail, rob. So,
I feel like those got very far from the actual definition.
Sure, but that's it. I guess that's a good name for it then.
And this is off album, what album is this off of? 10.
Other times, other places.
Yes, ma'am.
It's same as previous episode, written by McCusker and Lawler and directed by Phil Lawler. Mm-hmm. And it aired a week after the previous one on June 29th, 1991.
Is there any cast people of note? Is Will Ryan in this episode? He sounds like he is.
No.
Wow.
No.
Somebody just sounds like Eugene.
Cast people of note, we have...
Any new ones from last time?
Yeah, not really, but Barry Stiegler, who played Pinky in the last episode, is Pinky again in this episode, and also Woody, who is the cop assistant dude. Yeah. And obviously, we've got Nathan Carlson returning as Richard Maxwell.
Okay.
I also want to offer a correction to the previous episode.
Okay.
Last week, we talked about Dave Arnold being Bernard. We were wrong. Dave Arnold is like a producer on the show.
Yes.
Dave Madden is Bernard. So.
Did somebody correct us, or did you just remember that?
No, someone corrected us.
Thank you, someone.
Yeah, I believe it was Lee.
Ah, Lee. Always looking out for us. You're a hero.
Yeah. We don't have a promo this week.
That's so weird.
Because unless you want to listen to the same one again. Yeah. But I do not.
Nope. I have no distinct desire to. Obviously, this is it's a part 2, so it just picks up right where the previous episode left off.
Yep.
Is there even there's no intro? It's just Chris being like, now Adventures in Odyssey or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
And so it starts with Blackgaard, right?
No. It starts with Agent Phillips. So we ended last episode with Connie being taken to the parking garage, yes. And Blackgaard was there. This episode picks up with Agent Phillips and Whit having realized Connie is not there, and Phillips being all flippant, she's a teenager. She probably just wanted to walk
do some
around.
Sightseeing.
And Whitaker's like,
no.
I'm turning into Blackgaard here. Where I keep saying Whitaker. And Whit's like, no, considering all that's happened, there's no way she's just walking around.
Yeah. Especially because she'd never been there before. She wouldn't even know where she was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so
and then they get a call from Connie.
Who sounds very annoyed.
Yes. Because she is being forced to make this call.
Yep.
By Dr. Regis Blackgaard.
Yeah.
But they don't know that.
Yeah, they're setting up the phone tap to tap the phone call, I guess, to trace where it's coming from.
Yep.
And Connie wants him to meet her
under the clock tower
of North College on the south side of the clock tower at 6:00.
Yep.
Which is North College an actual place, or is that's just Odyssey?
I assumed it wasn't real, but we can also Google, and this time
just
I will
you.
be the only one to Google.
I'm the leader. I'll say when we Google.
North Park University
in Chicago
is a Chicago thing, and also North Central College.
There you go.
Is a Chicago thing.
They got 2 of them.
But North Park University is a Christian college.
Oh.
So
perhaps a Odyssey alum.
Yes. Perhaps so. This show is very Midwesty.
Yeah, I was gonna say fan servicey.
Yeah.
Or producer servicey.
So then we cut to Connie and Blackgaard.
Yep.
And Connie calls him Mr. Blackgaard.
Yeah, and
he's like, no, it's Doctor. But why is she even calling him Mr.? Like, it's so weird to be formal to the guy who kidnapped you.
Yeah, especially because she just calls him Blackgaard all the time, like, outside of it, Blackgaard. And so then they have this whole conversation where, like, basically, Blackgaard exposes that he actually didn't do anything wrong himself, and there's no way of tying him to the crimes committed that we've seen.
Well, yeah, he starts out by
Richard Maxwell serving time for arson and stuff like that, and then Connie's like, well, no, Richard Maxwell, testified against you, and he's like, well, they have no proof to tie me to it, and he's a convicted felon, so who are they going to believe?
Right. Exactly.
Because he thought about coming back to Odyssey.
Yep. Well, yeah, and even before that, he threatens... Connie says, like, oh, like, you've kidnapped me. He's like, no, you're free to leave, but if you leave, something might happen to Mr. Whitaker.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're not still in the parking garage of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, she was, in fact, kidnapped.
Yes.
Because she didn't come to that place...
Willingly. Yes.
So Blackgaard's whole, like, oh, I'm gonna, like, word ninja my way out of this. No.
Nope, doesn't work.
That is, nope.
Will not hold up in the court of law.
And he might even know that and is just playing Connie.
Yeah,
but,
which actually seems pretty likely, given the circumstances and knowing what we know about Blackgaard.
But yeah, and so, and he reveals that he's in, like, this warehouse with a bunch of electronics, and he's... working to open a chain of electronic stores, including one in Odyssey.
Yeah.
Which then starts that whole conversation of Connie being like, you can't step foot in Odyssey again. Maxwell's in jail, and he testified against you. And Blackgaard's like, well, that was Maxwell.
Yeah, you got more loopholes than a spaghetti strainer.
Yes, that Odyssean humor.
His accent is so good.
Odyssean.
Yeah, it's Odyssean.
I said Odyssean.
It's okay, I forgive you.
It's not okay, Jack Squad.
I'm so sorry, we've let you down. There was... yeah, I don't know. And then Connie, it's basically like him word ninjaing his way out of it. Like, he's basically above the law. Is this... So all this electronic stuff that he has, a lot of it's stolen, presumably?
I don't think so.
It's not from the guy that was stealing car radios and stuff like he told him to?
I'm not under that impression.
Okay. No. I wasn't... Because when they said that, I was like, oh, he has thugs that steal stuff for them, and then he flips them to start his own business.
Maybe, but that's not the impression I got, but you could be right, man.
I don't know.
But yeah,
we'll have to find out.
He then
keep listening.
He then claims that I might be working with the government.
Yeah,
which foreshadowing.
Yeah, and then Connie's like, "Wah!"
And then we cut scene.
Yep,
we cut to Whit and Phillips, and they're arguing.
Yeah,
as if they're on even ground.
Yeah,
like this is what I don't get. Whit is, and they play a little bit more of it later, where they're like, where you hear Phillips talking with Woody and being like, is he an agent? Is he above us? Like, do we not know what's going on? But given the context of the scene,
Whit is not the authority here.
No,
but he's talking to the authority like they are on equal grounds.
Right, and he's telling them that he is taking this laptop for to exchange for Connie.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not taking a fake laptop. And it's like, wait, you have no authority to say that you're not taking it. If you go with this government laptop, you are stealing that from the government.
Yeah.
Like, it's their laptop.
That is
You've
illegal.
returned it to them.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then Woody puts a homing device on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Whit makes this ridiculous play of, like, once he's convinced them to say, hey, you can take the government computer, he then cuffs it to his wrist.
Yeah. And then gives them the key.
Right.
As
and
a
lets
sense of, like,
them have the key. But he thought it wouldn't work for them to take a fake, that would endanger Connie's life.
Yeah.
But he's not afraid that if he walks up with a computer that is visibly cuffed to his arm and he does not have a key, that won't endanger her life?
Bolt cutters, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe it's just so people don't just, like, run up and, you know, mug him and then take it. Like,
No, like, I understand the logic of doing it, but I don't understand how that is more like
protective of Connie than
right,
the alternative.
Than having a fake computer.
Exactly. I don't know either. I genuinely don't know. I think he seemed like his vocal tone just seemed kind of like he was being a smart aleck. He was like, no, I'm going to do this. And
right.
I don't know.
Yes.
And you can keep the key because I'm not a bad guy, even though you think I am.
Right.
Mwah.
Yep. Yeah. And then, yeah, that just, it doesn't add up for me.
No, there's a lot of this story that doesn't.
And then
Whit disappears. Right?
What?
Well, he doesn't disappear. They're, like, watching him.
Dude, that's not for, like, 20 minutes. That's so much later in the episode.
Wait, seriously?
We are currently at the police headquarters, and Whit is getting the thing handcuffed to him.
Yes.
We will then go from there to Connie and Blackgaard. Then we will go back to Whit, now at the clock tower, go through that whole scene, and then he will disappear.
You are correct. I did not take good notes for this episode. For that, I apologize.
It's fine. We're good. I don't actually hate you.
I know you don't.
I just
like to pretend like you
do. You're sometimes exhausting.
I am most
no.
of the time exhausting.
It's at this point that Whit asks for a moment alone so that he can pray, and the detective or Agent Phillips is like, "Oh, pray? What's that gonna do? I'm an atheist.
I hate religion," and then just leaves.
Yeah.
It's so weird because religion seems so far out of this narrative, and then Witch is like, "Wait a minute, I need to pray."
Yeah. And also I can't do that in the presence of other people.
Yeah, like quietly praying or not doing it out loud
or even saying to the room like, "Hey, I'm going to take a moment to pray." But the fact that he kicks them out is weird.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he is God.
But the move of like, I feel like that's definitely a like kind of not out of the ordinary Christian maneuver to be like, "Hey, let me like pray for the whole thing with everyone there, so that like I can show you like so that you can be part of this prayer."
Oh, that's a whole it's a
but
huge
instead
thing. That's
he's
the
like,
youth group thing where you pray before you do like volleyball or something like that. Like,
but instead he like kicks them out of the room so we can have a moment alone. It's just, I mean, I get the way that it's serving the narrative.
Yeah,
it just was a little bit odd.
Hey, wait a minute.
Get out of here! I gotta pray. So yes, we then jump to Connie and Blackgaard, and Blackgaard reveals that they are not going to meet up with Whit. And then he says, "Dr. Blackgaard will take care of everything."
That's so creepy.
Don't talk in the third person, Blackgaard.
Dr.
You're such a good villain otherwise.
Everything. Yeah. Is that the only time he talks in the third person this episode?
It's the only time I took note of.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't jumped out to me earlier in the series or anything, but it's really bad here. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Hey, now we jump to the parade.
There it is.
So they're at the park, and there's there's like a festival going on or something.
Yeah. There's a clown. Is there more than one clown, or is it just Pinky?
It's just Pinky.
Okay.
I mean, there might be multiple clowns at the place.
Yeah.
But so Wit's under the clock tower. Mm-hmm. He's got the homing device. I like that they go homing instead of tracking. It's very old school. And what's his name? Phillips and Woody are watching from a distance.
Yeah. Are they in like a surveillance van? Because in my head, they're in a surveillance van.
That is my assumption as well. Yeah. It's weird here, like they're making observations about, like, oh, it looks like this is happening and whatnot. Because I get it's an audio podcast, but also it's not a podcast; it's an audio show.
Drama, perhaps.
Yeah, even that. But I don't understand why Wit's not wearing a wire.
Yeah.
That just
given all this stuff,
like
I don't know why they put a tracking device on him.
They could get audio on him during this. I mean, the reason they don't is because that would destroy the plot.
Yeah, that would completely hijack. Well, although Richard Maxwell disables spoiler alert, Maxwell, he drops him through a sewer grate, beats him unconscious, turns off the tracking device on the laptop, so he could have dismantled a wire.
Right, I realize, but we would have heard Wit talking to Pinky then. Which we don't hear here.
Yes. That is fair.
So yeah, Pinky's dressed as a clown, talks to Wit under the tower. Yep. Then the parade goes by, they lose visual, Wit falls through the floor, and is down with Richard Maxwell.
The weasel himself.
Yeah. And then Wit's like,
what? Aren't you supposed to be in juvie? He's like, I let me off on good behavior. Nah.
Did you say juvie?
Yeah. He's in it wasn't jail. It was like, it was like,
I knew that it was
juvenile
county thing.
Like it was a juvenile delinquents center or something like that.
How is Maxwell a juvenile?
I don't know. That blew my mind.
He was a counselor at a college.
Yes, the man's got to be at least like 22.
I don't understand this.
And he was in like a
But the
maybe juvie goes up to 25 in Illinois. I don't know.
But so
people convicted of arson, and then like people that just beat somebody up in second grade, like
right. The two kinds of people.
There are only two kinds of people in this world.
Right. Those who commit arson and those who beat someone up in second grade.
I was a second grade beat 'em up guy.
I'm the arsonist.
That's why we work well together. Anyway.
So Maxwell has been let out on good behavior. Mm-hmm. He has then captured Wit. It's really weird here because Wit doesn't know about Blackgaard at this point.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, oh, Maxwell?
Like, what are you doing here?
Like, I guess that means Blackgaard's involved? And he's like, yes, but not in the way you think.
Yeah, and then you get the whole evil, like, let me tell you my plan, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe this, and maybe that, and maybe... That's a lot of maybes.
Six to be
exact, but they all happen to be true.
Excellent writing.
So yeah, he reveals it's been 2 years since the battle, which is true both in real time and in Odyssey time. Nice to see them lining up here. Don't get used to it.
Yeah. That will be violently stripped from you.
And then Maxwell is friends with Greg Kelly. Mm-hmm. And has been following Blackgaard.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, Greg Kelly's... Wait, who's Greg Kelly?
What? Who'd you say he was?
No, who's Greg Kelly?
Greg Kelly's the guy who stole the car radio.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Gregory. But
yeah, so...
And he's been following him, and then he's...
Right. Yeah. So he's friends with Greg Kelly, and he's been following Blackgaard. Mm-hmm. I'm so confused as to how all of this works. So, this guy Maxwell's friends with, Greg Kelly, gets a job stealing car radios for Blackgaard. Mm-hmm. One day, he's supposed to steal a car radio, but instead steals a laptop that was supposed to be stolen by Pinky. That laptop then gets swapped with Blackgaard. Somehow, so Blackgaard has the wrong laptop. Somehow, Maxwell overhears all of this.
Yeah.
And then he claims to have seen Blackgaard kidnap Connie, so he's been following Blackgaard. But then he also has their phones tapped or something.
Yeah, that's the only way I can
He knew
think
about
of it.
the rendezvous.
Yeah.
And also knew that directly underneath the spot Whit was going to be standing would be a sewer grate.
Yeah,
and
that
he
could
get
just drop
into the
him
sewer
through, like,
and drop Whit through the sewer
like
grate.
trapdoor style.
Timed out with this carnival parade that he couldn't have seen from the sewer grate.
Yes.
So that the FBI and Blackgaard wouldn't know where Whit was, so that Blackgaard could team up with, so that Maxwell could team up with Whit
to take
down Blackgaard.
Yeah.
This episode's plot, while being so enjoyable,
makes no sense.
so convoluted and convenient.
It's like, of course all this stuff happens. And the thing is, without examining it further, as a listener, you just kind of go along with it. You're like,
right.
Oh, there's Blackgaard. Of course there's Maxwell. Makes sense. They're not too far away.
The whole thing, like, right, it works narratively. It just doesn't work when you break it down.
Yep.
The other thing we missed is, so after the homing device is turned off and Whit disappears, we cut to commercial, and we cut back on Blackgaard yelling at Pinky, and we get, Pinky, you bungled it! Pinky, you bungled it!
Take off that clown nose.
Take off those clown shoes.
Which, in hindsight, like, clearly, he's probably not wearing the clown outfit at this point. So he just left the nose and the shoes on.
He's probably... Oh, you're saying because he's...
I mean, if he's pointing it out, like, he's like, well, wait, he wouldn't be like, take off that clown outfit. Like, no. Clearly, right. Pinky is wearing his mobster getup and clown shoes and a clown nose. Maybe the wig, we don't know. It's an audio medium. We have no way of knowing.
Man, that's such a shame. Anyways, so then we have the whole interaction with Blackgaard. And Whit does have an incredible line of saying, it feels like someone shoved a bowling ball in my ear.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Maxwell, right?
No, that's Whit.
No, but he's talking to Maxwell, right?
Yeah.
Because Maxwell beat him upside the head.
Right. But I feel like...
A bowling ball in your... What?
Yeah. All right, Whit.
There's never been a time where I've thought to myself, you know what? This is what this feels like. I've been unconscious many times in my life.
Never felt like a bowling ball in your ear?
Never. I've been kicked in the head a lot.
Can we try and shove a bowling ball in your ear as like a Patreon exclusive?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Sure. That's our like $1 tier goal. Is putting a bowling ball in my ear.
Okay. If anyone gives us $1,
we will put a 10-pound bowling ball in Andrew's ear.
Anyways, so then we go through this whole hullabaloo with Maxwell that I had talked about.
Yeah. Where he kind of explains his plan, and he's like, I'm going to get back at Blackgaard, and you're going to help me.
Right. And then we cut to Phillips and Woody, and Phillips is convinced that Whit has gone rogue, and then the homing signal turns on at a warehouse, and we cut to Whit arriving at Blackgaard's warehouse, throwing Blackgaard off.
Yeah.
Connie's excited to see Whit.
Yeah.
Pinky is tied up in the car.
Yep.
And
he would like to speak to him, but he's a bit tied up at the moment. But and then Blackgaard's just like, ugh.
And then Maxwell walks in.
Hi, Blackgaard.
And everyone's like, ah, it's Maxwell, except for Whit, who's like, yeah, we teamed up.
Bad boys.
Because reasons.
Men in Blackgaard. Sorry.
You went from Bad Boys to Men in Black.
Anyway.
So.
Gather ourselves.
Yeah. So Blackgaard's holding on to, has Connie, and Whit's got the computer, and then Maxwell pulls out a gun.
And he's like, I'm gonna kill you.
And everyone's like, Maxwell's got a gun. Don't kill him. Right, and Blackgaard shoves Connie in front of him, and Maxwell's like, I don't even care.
Which, like, holy crap, when you were listening to that, and you didn't know, I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy's just gonna pop 2 people. He's going for it. He's going off.
And then Blackgaard shoves Connie onto Maxwell.
Yeah.
And runs to one of his escape hatches, which he had installed.
Yeah.
And monologues about.
Yeah.
But Maxwell rewired them to shock him.
Yeah, and he goes, Bzz, and he's like, ah! And Maxwell's like, nah, see, I thought about everything, see?
And then Maxwell just, like, walks up on Blackgaard with the gun, and he shoves Blackgaard to his knees.
Yeah,
says,
and get on your knees.
Beg me for your life.
Yeah, beg me for your life. And then Blackgaard's like, don't hurt me, please. And he's like, oh, you can do better than that. He's like, please.
It honestly is a really great scene.
Anything.
Of just seeing Blackgaard being such, he really does at the end of the day, like, he just cares about saving his own skin.
Yeah.
Which we see time and time again. And it's great right here.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is that he's, like, very resistant to it at first. Like, he's, like, clearly, like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then he's like, you could live anywhere in the world. Like, I have money. Right. You can do any, like, just please don't hurt me.
Maxwell just, like, does not care. And Blackgaard's like, oh, all right. Like, I need to take this guy more seriously than I had been.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
we get Whit's monologue.
Yeah, Whit jumps in front because he's still pointing the gun at him. He's still like seems
right.
like he's gonna.
He
shoot
jumps
him.
in between the two of them,
and then he's like
once again sacrificing, like doing that sacrifice yourself for a villain play that's like really defines Whit at this point.
Yeah.
And Whit has this really good monologue where he's like, "You don't understand. When you go out for revenge, you dig 2 graves," which I'm like, great point. I fully get what you're doing. And then he's like, oh yeah, this is a kid's show. Let me explain that.
Yeah.
One for the person you're after, and one for yourself.
Yeah. Revenge doesn't satisfy, blah, 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 blah. Which, you're right.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Retributive violence is never the answer.
Yeah. Retributive?
Get back.
Is it not retributive?
No, it's retributive.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I've just never said that word out loud.
Yep.
Anyways,
you learn something new every day.
Apparently so. We should have brought up earlier, but like the whole thing with the gun too, is that Whit's like, this was not part of the plan.
Yeah.
This is clearly not what they had talked about.
Yeah.
And it's stressing Whit out. And then Maxwell fires his gun, and Whit and Blackgaard die, and that's the end of the show.
Yep.
Cut to credits. Connie's in tears. Maxwell laughs maniacally.
Chris is just sobbing.
Yeah.
She starts reading Ecclesiastes, like, vain, everything is vain.
It's such a dark end to this show, and we're only like 150 episodes in. Like, it's crazy that they then like have to resurrect
700
3 days later, and like that whole thing.
Yeah,
it's bonkers, guys. The next few episodes are gonna be crazy. Actually, so it's a water gun.
It's a water gun. It's like. And he's like, what? It's a water gun? And he's like, yeah, I wasn't going to break parole buying a real gun. Like, I'm not going to... Like, because Whit says to him, is like, Maxwell, you have your whole life ahead of you. You just got out of juvenile detention because apparently you're 12.
So he doesn't actually say juvenile. He does just say the detention center.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not juvie?
What else?
It's so confusing. I don't understand.
It's penitentiary is the name for...
Right.
Jail
or prison. I would have accepted all of those.
Yeah.
Detention center?
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. If we're wrong about our understanding
That's the
of
universe
lingo,
in which the Breakfast Club exists.
Fill us in, please.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah. It's a water gun, and then Blackgaard just takes off and runs out the back door.
Yep, with the laptop.
Yep. No. Yes. No. Yes. No, he does not.
Oh.
Phillips gets the laptop.
Yes.
Come on, Andrew.
Sorry.
That wasn't a bit. Andrew actually didn't know what was going on, unlike my bit where I did know what was going on.
Got him.
So Blackgaard runs out the back door at the same time as like Phillips rushes in and is like, "Ha! I've caught all of you, Connie and Wit and this guy I've never seen before. Like, you clearly were conspiring to steal this laptop." And and then Maxwell's like, "Oh, you're that guy who I've seen over here with Blackgaard.
Yeah,
you're a bad guy."
Yeah.
And then Phillips is still like, "Give me the laptop." And Wit's like, "Okay," and hands him the laptop.
Yep.
And then Phillips leaves.
Yep.
So Blackgaard was working with the government. It's just the government is also villains.
Yes. Government also bad guys.
And so we go to... Well, so there's kind of that whole like, "Oh no," Connie's like, "Oh no, we failed," and then Whit and Maxwell are like, "Or did we?"
Yep.
And then like we cut out to the van where Blackgaard and Phillips are sitting.
Yeah.
They
boot up the computer.
They talk about how like they're gonna get so much money off of this. So
yeah,
I can't tell if they're just reselling it.
Yeah.
Or like maybe they're going to use whatever software is on that, maybe applesauce, to hold like someone for ransom, or I don't know. I don't know what they're...
In my
it's never clear what Blackgaard's goals are in these early episodes.
Yeah, like who is he selling it to? My guess is it's the Department of Defense. So government secrets about defense he could sell to anybody that has any desire to have a upper hand militarily against the United States.
That's very true.
So he could get a lot of money. That's more so what I was thinking was going on.
No, yeah, I'm sure you're right. So they boot up the computer, and it's a video of Maxwell and Whitaker talking, explaining that they have reprogrammed the laptop to wipe itself when it was turned on, assuming that the government would rather have the computer
secrets than have them in the hands of the enemy. Yeah.
So there's they've put on some sort of safeguard where like, hey, if we put in this sequence, it wouldn't do this. But if the wrong people have it and don't know to put in that sequence, it's gone, which is a very Wit move.
Yeah.
And also pretty smart, and I like it. And, crazy that Wit and Maxwell were able to figure all this out on a government laptop. I guess they had
15 minutes.
They had administrative access or whatever. I don't know how computers worked in the early 90s. Don't at me.
Yeah.
And
Wit is also God, so he can do whatever he wants.
And then Maxwell starts laughing maniacally.
And then Wit starts laughing.
And then Wit joins in, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and Wit's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, Housesmith has a great chuckle, but the maniacal laugh just doesn't suit Wit, because it's like he's laughing at the downfall of his enemy, which isn't like a Wit maneuver.
No.
Like, he wants to save everyone.
Yes. Yeah, it felt weird hearing it. I thought, I was like, oh, that's strange. It's kind of funny, but also like...
it is.
Maybe
but it
he's
doesn't...
consciously playing the bit of...
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a weird character move.
Yeah, yeah. Perhaps we're examining it too closely.
No, we are not. That's not what this show's about. We don't examine a children's show with incredible scrutiny.
Laughter turns to tears.
And then we have Blackgaard's final line that we go out on of, "Laugh now, Whitaker, but I'm not finished with you. Not by a long shot." Dun, dun, dun. Which I don't know if that's something he says multiple times or it just seems like the most Blackgaard of lines.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like the most Blackgaard of lines.
It really is.
Yeah, well, it's like that classic villain, like, you know, like,
yeah,
curse you, Perry the Platypus. Like that kind of bit.
Yeah, you're right.
You like how I went to Phineas and Ferb for classic villain bits?
I mean, they're riffing on it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, these episodes are good.
Yes.
I like them.
Yes.
The storyline, while it doesn't make sense, is fun.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, I don't have quite the same... Well, my issues with Connie are different.
Yeah.
Before, she was
just annoying.
She was annoying and, like, petty and frustrating in that manner. Mm-hmm. This episode, she is just the damsel in distress, and that's frustrating, but at least she's not really opening her mouth too much.
Yeah,
like,
she's pretty much a nothing in this episode other than that.
These episodes are just a really poor handling of her. And I wish it had been Bernard.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. David. Nope. Madden. Last name Madden, first name Dave. I was right.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that doesn't happen often. Anyway.
But yeah, it's a good.
No, it's good. It's very enjoyable, and like I like the different environment. Like, it's cool to see Blackgaard outside of Odyssey and to kind of get a little bit more character development on the Richard Maxwell side of things. And, yeah. I think with him actually, like, not ruining his life is a pretty significant thing.
Yeah, no, it is. I still don't like him.
No. He's a terrible person. But but he's better than he was. So.
Yeah. And it's, still fun to...
Yeah.
Like... Here's the thing with Maxwell. He is a really well-written character.
Mm-hmm.
And he's written for us to hate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done really well. So, like, I can't put him at fault for...
how he was written.
Yeah, kind of. Like I do genuinely... Yeah, he's not a character... Like, I'm frustrated with Connie because I don't think she's well-written, especially in these episodes. I'm frustrated at Maxwell because he's written to be this horrible person so well.
Yeah, no.
And like this episode, I think goes a ways to make him not as horrible. Mm-hmm. Not that we're going to forget his previous transgressions.
Lighting a barn on fire.
Like, his whole maneuver here was to get revenge on Blackgaard, which he was going to do, like... Was him getting Blackgaard to beg for his life the revenge he wanted? Or was
I think so.
Or was he betting on the FBI arrest... Or, not the FBI. The Defense Department?
Yeah.
Department
NSA,
of Defense. Arresting Blackgaard? Like, I don't know if that was his revenge here. But, like... Yeah, it does... Even with the squirt gun fake out, Maxwell is not
squirt gun fake out, new band name, I call it.
Amen. Maxwell is not portrayed in a good light.
No.
He's kind of
he's conveyed in a Maxwell light,
right?
Which is a human character that is both good and evil and has and good for the wrong reasons.
Right. He's chaotic neutral, maybe even chaotic evil.
Yeah,
but like. He's very much a Loki character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's self-motivated, but sometimes that involves him doing the right thing.
Right. Sometimes that's for good, sometimes that's for bad, but really he just wants to like create a mess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fun to have him back, and
look forward to the future of the Blackgaard Chronicles.
Yeah. The discussion question, the big one is, would you have trusted Richard Maxwell if you were Wit?
I think that he wouldn't have had a choice. I feel like in that circumstance, you'd just be like, well, you know what? And also, Maxwell did like kind of have a bit of a character arc towards the end of the last time, where he kind of came clean,
turned himself in, that sort of thing.
Like,
yeah. And do you think he's changed for better or for worse? Not really.
No, not really.
I think he's genuinely like the same guy. I think
he's a less
stupid
version, but he's still just as self-interested.
Yeah, there's a really good line from the television show Young Justice from Lex Luthor in the show, saying like, I'm not an angel, but this time I just happen to be fighting on the side of them.
Yeah.
Of being like, yes, I am a villain, but like sometimes like the other
I'm on
threat
my
is
own
bigger.
team. Yeah.
Right. Very much I'm on my own team, which means that sometimes I might help you out.
Yeah.
And so that's very much the way Maxwell feels in this, where it's like, he's not an angel, but he is on the side of them.
Yeah. Exactly. Very well put.
Just this once.
And plug in that Young Justice.
Oh, yeah.
Catch Dylan Unwhelmed.
Yeah.
Haven't plugged that in a moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a long time since it came out.
Yeah.
But
do you have anything to promote this week, Dylan?
No, I'm not
I'm
not gonna promote anything, I don't think.
I have something. So as of recording this, I am recording tonight another episode of the Andrew Sabo podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
So hopefully that should be out soon. I can't tell you when it will be out, just because it probably won't be out before this is airing, but it will be out soon.
Yeah.
And if it is, I'll tell Dylan and he'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. I will. The episode will be in the show notes of this episode if it is out when this episode comes out. Mm-hmm. If not, we'll talk about it again next week, and it'll be in those show notes.
Yes,
and maybe it'll keep going and come out in like a couple months, and we'll pull a Scrubs soundtrack and we'll just lose it on a hard drive or something. But
I don't think that's gonna happen this time. I've gotten a lot better about that.
Yeah, it's true. He's grown.
I have.
Yeah. So that's all we have for this week, and we will be back next one with episode 159, The Homecoming.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Waylaid in the Windy City Part 2 was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Sabo and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wadfam Chalk Pod.